Welcome to this installment of the Straight Edge Game Room. Today we're going to be looking at this stupid thing. What do each of these items have in common with one another? If you'd guessed that they're all low-end Chinese knockoffs, you would be correct. And today we're going to be looking at the cool Sirrah. I've also seen it called the Kabwa. No, I'm not speaking in a stereotypical Asian accent. Look it up if you don't believe me. Let's get this over with. What better way to pass the time on those really long road trips than to take an extensive library of NES titles by compressing them into a cheap Chinese knockoff and compromising their graphics with a lousy LED screen. Like many other cheap Chinese knockoffs, this thing brags to have 268 games, when that isn't the case because many of them are just repeats of the same games, or they're just the same games with different titles. But hey, here we got Super Contra. Well, actually, it's not Super Contra, it's regular Contra. But does the Konami code work on it? Yes, it does. For what it's worth, the LED screen is very bright and colorful, but the compression of the graphics compromise the quality of the games. The text is cut off at the bottom, and some of the sprites have lost some of their visual integrity because of that compression process. It just didn't work out well. As you hold this thing in your hand, it feels cheap, it's very light, and it feels like you can break it very easily. It comes packed in with a 8-bit version, or rather a bootleg version of Angry Birds. And I'm not a big Angry Birds fan, I never played it all that much, but this is the worst version of Angry Birds I have ever seen. So here's the actual unit itself. You got your directional pad right here, and your cheap LED screen, your nubs of action buttons, and they all do different things depending on the game you select, and some of them are on turbo fire. I don't know why, but they are. Your volume button is right here. This is your start button, believe it or not. This is your select and your reset. Your on and off switch is up here. It takes 3 AAAs to power it. Whoops. But yeah, it feels cheap. It looks cheap. I hope it's not lead based. Let's find out. Doesn't smell lead based. Doesn't taste like lead, so that's a good thing. Not only have the graphics been compromised on this, the clock speed on some of the games have been altered. I don't know why. It doesn't make it any more interesting. I've seen this online going for as much as $25 and up, and I don't recommend you to pay that much. I don't recommend you to pay more than $5 for this thing, which is less than what I paid for. Actually, I take that back. Don't pay any money for this. Don't even spend 1 nickel on this stupid thing. It tries to look like a PSP, and then when you turn it on, it's nothing but a poorly made Famiclone. So if you ever run into this thing, don't buy it. If you get it for Christmas, smash it with a hammer and then throw it in the trash. Avoid this thing. Thanks for watching this episode of the Straight Edge Game Room. Remember, if it looks and feels like a cheap Chinese knockoff, it is.